Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is Mrs. J, and today we're going to look at the shape sheet. So the shape sheet has some isometric shapes. It has 11 of them that are on this paper, and we're going to try to create the first one in Fusion. So we're going to look at this one, number 1, the famous Project Lead the Way, shape number 1. So if you come down to the bottom right, you'll see it says grid spacing 0.5 inches. What that means is, let's zoom in a little bit, for every little box you have on this grid, it's a ½ inch. So if I count it along the bottom here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can take that, multiply it by 0.5, and figure out how long it should be in Fusion. You can also do every 2. So you could say every 2 is 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 3½ inches total. So you could count all 7 times 0.5, 3½ inches, or count every 2. It's up to you. I think we have to figure out our approach for each one of these shapes. We're just going to do this one in this video. I would suggest for this one, creating this L. See this L outside shape here? This would be the correct front view of this object. We don't have to start there, but it looks the easiest way to do it. Make the L, extrude it out, and then cut out this and cut out that. So why don't we go ahead and try. Open up Fusion, and then if you don't have the data panel open, go ahead and open that. It's that little Rubik's Cube right here. And let's make a new project. So let's say you open it up and you happen to be inside a project. Go to the Home button, so you're at All Projects. Create New Project, and we're going to call this the shape sheet. Oops. And I think we hit enter. Here we go. Now it goes alphabetical, or you can pin it to the top. Scroll back up. Also alphabetical according to how many pins you have. Okay, so we're going to double click it. Once you've done that, everything you made for the shape sheet will be in here. Remember to toggle out if you're switching to another project. So I can go ahead and close that, and I can forget about it as long as I'm only making all of those 11 shapes on there. Okay, so let's make that shape. Let's go to create a sketch in the top left, and let's pick this plane because that's where I saw the L on that shape sheet. So for me, it's XY. Now I can use the line tool or the rectangle tool. It really doesn't matter, so I'm going to use the rectangle tool because it's easy. I'm going to make this bottom rectangle. So it's 3½ inches by 1 inch. I'm going to say rectangle tool, start on the origin. I'm just going to drag to the right, but I'm not going to click this one. I'm going to type 3.5, tab on my keyboard, 1. So if you tab, it toggles back and forth between the two. Hit enter. If you happen to have hit enter too early and you have a different number here, you simply double click, type in what you need. Okay, hit escape to get out of that. We use the rectangle tool one more time. I'm going to go to the origin and I'm going to drag up this way. And I actually forgot to pay attention to what size it was. So we're going to say it's 1 inches, 2 inches, 2½ inches, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. 2½ inches by 1 inch this way. So I'm going to drag up. I'm going to say 2.5, tab 1, enter. Okay, so if you rotate it a little bit, drag the view cube, you can see you've got that L shape that looks just like there. These are in the way, but when you extrude, it doesn't matter. So I could trim those out with the trim tool, or I could just leave them alone, which is what I'm going to do. Finish my sketch. I'm going to hit the home button so I can see it a little isometric, and I'm going to zoom out. Now I'm going to extrude it back this way, but let's see how far. So we'll come back to our shape, and we're going to count across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 2½ inches from the front to the back. Nice and easy peasy. Hit extrude. Click here. You'd have to click all of them because I didn't trim it out. I'm just going to drag in the opposite direction, and I can drag it to 2.5, or I could type. It's going to be negative because I'm going back on the plane. It doesn't matter which way you do it for this piece. So I'm going to do negative 2.5 and hit OK. There we go. Hit the home button, take a good look. So we're almost there. We just have to cut out the top and this top. Let's take another look at our piece. So if I come in here, it's an inch over from either side, and then it goes back in 1.5 inches. It itself is only 0.5 inches or ½ inches wide in here. So let's see if we can figure that out. Go to Fusion, create a new sketch. We don't want to use these planes anymore. That's when we first get started. Once we start making a part, we put our create sketches right on top of the part. So I'm going to click right here. See how it changed color? It's going to flip it so it's in front of me. So pay attention to how that moves so you don't get disoriented. See where I am? It flipped it for me. Okay, so I'm going to stay there and work there. I wish it stayed neater. Wait, I can do this. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take the rectangle tool just like we did before, and I'm going to sort of eyeball it right here using these grids. I know I'm about 1 inch away, and let's see, scroll out. Should be about 1 inch away. I'm not going to get it perfect, but I'm going to fix it later. And then we'll do this. Okay, so I know I want it to be 1.5 inches in that direction. And I also want it to be 0.5 in this direction. So 1.5 and 0.5. But now let's make sure we have it the correct amount from the side. So I'm going to use the dimension tool in the top left. We're going to click this edge, see how it turns blue? But we're also going to click this edge of the new part. You have to click both, and then you want to drag off in this direction. Don't be on your part, come off your part. Line them up, and I have 0.97, but I should be 1. Now, if I put it 1 inch in this direction, then it's automatically 1 inch in this direction. I don't have to fix that. I'm going to double check that this is right, 0.5 and 1.5. Come back here, and it's ½ inch here, 1.5 inch there. I'm good. Okay, so we want to finish the sketch. Now, normally when we extrude our parts, we get a nice thick surface, but let's do the opposite. Let's select it, and let's just drag it through. You can be exact and tell it 1 inch, or you can go more. It doesn't matter because it's removing material. You'll see it turn red, and you'll see the word cut appear here. If I had gone in the other direction, you would see that turns to join, and it gives more material. We want to remove material. Click OK. There you go, one more, and I think you know how to do this now. Create a new sketch. I'm going to put it right on the top because that's what needs to come out. I'm going to take a good look at our picture. Looks like it is a ½ inch on either side, and it's the full width of the part. So easy peasy. We're going to use the rectangle tool again. It's now our friend, huh? I'm just going to click somewhere. I can start here and drag down. I could start here and drag up. Doesn't matter. I'm going to click right there on that grid. I'm going to drag over to here. And I want it to be 1 inch by 1.5 inches. And I'm going to hit enter. If you're not sure if you're exactly in the right place, just check one dimension. Make sure you're okay. Dimension tool. Click the outer edge. I'm going to zoom in. Click the inner edge. And it should say 0.5. If it says 0.5, you can leave it. If it doesn't, type in 0.5. You also want to make sure that when you initially made that rectangle, you went from 1 inch to the other and you didn't miss. Sometimes we miss a little bit here. Okay, so that was unnecessary to do, but it was just to take a look at that 0.5. Close your sketch, put it in isometric view, take your extrude tool, and we're going to pick what we just made, and we're going to go down. And I didn't pay attention. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's only a little bit, ½ inch. I was making it much too big. All right, 0.5. You can drag or you can type in negative 0.5. As long as you're making a cut, you're good. Click OK. Oh, freezing a little bit. All right, thanks for watching. There's your shape number 1. Add some color, have some fun. Don't forget to save your work. Shape number 1. Congratulations.